Yo, what's good, y'all? This is the Triple Crown Podcast, and we're doing an album review on Lupe Fiasco, Real Music in Zion. Please go ahead and hit that follow, like, and subscribe button. We really would appreciate it. But let's go ahead and get this started.
For sure, for sure. This is Lupe Fiasco's eighth studio album. This is his third one under his label, First and 15th Records. Um, he had flirted around with the idea of the album last year, and he pretty much put out a tweet and said he was gonna try to do a 10-track album in less than 24 hours. So it really took him 3 days to do the album. But yeah, man, for to complete an album in 3 days is pretty impressive. He announced the album via Twitter on May 18th, and then it finally released on June 24th. It had two singles prior to the full album being released, and it was a album that was really based around Japanese philosophy, the perfection of imperfection. And he ended up working with a known producer who he's been collaborating with for a long time now. With soundtrack, they did Kick Push Together, Superstar, Hip Hop Saved My Life, Dumb It Down, and in Paris and Tokyo. So it's a producer he had a lot of chemistry with.
It's facts, man. So it sounds like he's trying to take it back to his early days. And, I like that, bro. I definitely like that. But let's go ahead and look at this track list real quick. The first one on the list, we got the Lions Den. Number two, we got Gotti. Number three, we got AUTOBOTO. Four, Precious Thing. Five, Kiosk. Six, Miss MURAL. Seven, Naomi. Eight, Drill Music in Zion. Nine, Seattle. 10 on Fox and them. Looking at that track list, bro. How you like it?
Um, I looking at it, I was like, okay, so this is Lupe for a while now, who has been once he's got off Atlantic Records, he's kind of been doing his own thing with the features. So you see, he really only had three artists that he really featured on here. Well, really two, but yeah, and one of them was his sister. So, looking at the what I originally saw from the track list, I was like, all right, well, we'll see how this is. This is coming off of Drogas Wave, which I really enjoyed. That was released in 2018. So I was like, okay, we'll see how this is. When the singles dropped, the two singles were Autobotto and um Drill Music in Zion, the title track. I really didn't feel Autobotto at first as a single, but then Drill Music in Zion for me was like a real okay. Let's see what Lupe is gonna cook here up here on this album, man, for sure. What about yourself?
I definitely felt the same way. I'm not really a big Lupe guy, so looking at this track list, I really couldn't judge too much about it. So it's really put on the headphones and let's go ahead and dive into it. Um, but so far, I can't complain. But how did you like the whole album as a whole?
Yeah, I liked it, man. It was a pretty solid album. I think it was a lot of nuggets in here. The same way with the Kendrick album. There's a lot of stuff that I feel like that's in this album that you can apply to life. Um, His sister is impressive. I've always enjoyed his sister poetry. The Lion's Den was like she was hitting, man. She was on four of his previous albums. She pretty much always every time she's on the album, she pretty much always does the intro part. But yeah, her poetry was great. Um, just to kind of quote some of it, poetry and scrolls of obituaries contain more words than dictionaries that define how lions in Zion became alley cats who traded their baseball bats for gats that spat blood of the people across the steep and concrete jungles that turned playgrounds into graveyards. And then wanna be the block but can't buy the block. I mean, that just speaks about what goes on in our communities, man. I feel like Ayesha Jaco, which is Lupe's sister, man, she just always does a great job of putting her poetic energy out on his albums, and it really, really sets the tone for the rest of his album. So I really like that. I think the overall sound of it was pretty cool. Soundtrack did a pretty good job. It's definitely not one of the aforementioned tracks, one of his bigger tracks when it comes to like the kick push, the superstar. There's no tracks like that on this album, but all of it sounds sonically pretty well put together, man.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's definitely a whole flow, a consistent flow of sound, let me say, throughout the whole album. I really love the production of it. Like, I
Really?
feel yeah, I personally, bro, I feel like the production from 1 to 10 it was amazing, bro. Like, I really loved it, but I was what kind of tuned me down. I'm sorry to have to say it, but it was Lupe. I wasn't with that type of sound, and then what Lupe brought to the tracks. I wasn't a big fan. Now he hit on some good deep stuff in those tracks in this album, let me say. But I hear the production it start. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good song. Then I hear Lupe. It's like okay, let me just see if it gets better, you know. But yeah.
Okay. So you just didn't like his rapping on any of these songs.
Yeah, now I do like some tracks up here. Like, like put it in the playlist, just let it ride out. If my mind not paying attention to it, it might overlap it, but I could put a couple songs in the playlist. But overall sound of Lupe, I see why he's not my guy.
Okay. Okay.
So what's your
Matt,
top? Go ahead, go ahead.
no, what were you about to say?
I was about to say, so what's your top 3 tracks of this album?
So my favorite tracks on here is Kiosk, Drill Music in Zion, and On Folks in Them. Those three tracks to me, like, they stand out above all. And then the tracks that I probably would dislike is pretty much just only one, and it's just Autobotto. And I really don't dislike Autobotto. It's just it it just wasn't the ideal Lupe song for me. I'm not gonna lie, this project took a lot. First listen, I didn't really feel it like that. It's something that I had to continue to revisit to actually start, okay, here are the nuggets and the gems that are within the album that I really enjoy. So it took a little while for me to really like grasp everything. But yeah, it's just Autobotto. And I really don't hate Autobotto. It's just it's my skippable track on here. What about yourself?
And that's also like correct this. You can't never I feel like you could always dislike a track, but honestly, it's a skippable, bro. It just wasn't in tune to what you was expecting of a track. So let's always correct that. People can say they can dislike something, but hey, whatever. Skippable. Let's go ahead and change that up. But for me, my top 3, I would definitely have to go with Precious Things, Miss Mural, and On Fox and 'Em. I like those 3 songs. I
Okay.
feel like production wise, that's where I really was like, since I really didn't like Lupe that much, I try to focus in on the production. I like those 3 at the most. And honestly, my least favorite, Naomi, Autobot, and Kiosk.
You
Yeah,
didn't like Kiosk?
I didn't like Kiosk. Yeah. Yeah. And that was part of the production to the song. And then of course of
Oh,
course
Lupe.
Lupe. But
Let's get into like so Kiosk to me was pretty fire. So like Kiosk concept was about rappers pretty much just showing off,
yeah.
and like I think it was a deeper like content in there, and I really enjoyed the like Kiosk. Lupe said in there like I have diamonds, that's an odd feeling. It's odd feeling this way, but they start to sparkle, that star glitter and glaze. It's always it sways, takes your mind to days where preachers can praise and aids as God killing the guys. And what a fucking phrase never ceases to amaze, but when he dies from cancer, that's God's mysterious ways. Basically, like the hypocriticalness of like the church at certain points where you got like preachers that's praising AIDS taking out gays, but then they when they catch cancer in the end, like surprise us on them. I mean, he had a bunch of nuggets within that song that I was like, all right, this is pretty, and the production was pretty solid to me. But it was just showing like, rappers putting all this attention on like, and people, not just rappers, but they putting all this attention on stuff that they want to have to look flashy, showing off the rims. He tired of it. Let's talk about something else. Like, it, I felt that. I felt that for real. I felt that.
Yeah, I said this. He definitely has some nuggets in this album. Trust me. Even though I didn't like him that much, but I definitely caught ooh. Like you even said, the Lion's Den. His sister killed it. That's the first thing I caught was the message of the album. That's what attracted me even more to it. But it was like yeah. But Lupe is a lyricist. I definitely would never say he's not. Um, but what happened to him though, man? What happened to Lupe, bro?
Let me ask you this before we get into that. Why didn't you like Autoboto?
Let me remember the sound for a second. Honestly, honestly, I really think it was just trash all around, bro. Um, the sound was trash, and what Lupe put on his other tracks compared to that one, I just didn't. It didn't catch. It didn't catch me, man. It just didn't catch me at all.
Yeah. That was one of his singles, and that was one of the things I was kind of like, yeah. But
Mhm.
Why did you like Miss Mural?
Miss Mural, bro, was the production of it. I like the intro of it, and then going into the chorus, I forgot how the chorus went. Man, look, man, I wish we can get this all in, on our YouTube, y'all. I really wish we can, so y'all can definitely hear what we're talking about. But but I like Miss Mural, man. I like the chorus of it. I like honestly throughout all these songs on this album, bro. I like the chorus of them. It, but it dropped down to Lupe, bro. Lupe just not my guy, man.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And the only thing that I really didn't like was Autobottle. I mean, I liked all of these, pretty much all of the songs. Um, Seattle and had one of the better hooks that I think was in the album. And then I'd probably say Gotti too probably had the best hook. Yeah. But I on folks and them probably yeah, yeah, yeah. On folks and them is probably the best song of this album, in my opinion. Um, just because he talking about rappers being murdered, um, and talking about something else, like he's sick and tired of the violence and he's just sick of it. And I think that was fire coming off of everything we pretty much experienced in hip hop with uh, all the deaths that we've had, all of the rappers either due to drug overdose or to gun violence. He just saying pretty much like, "Yo, that's enough," and that's how he wraps up the album. I think that was pretty dope how he did that.
So real quick, let me ask you this then. So what do you think the title of the album means? Drill music in Zion.
I couldn't tell you. Lupe is a very layered person. If I got into it, I would probably be wrong unless he like someone connects the dots of like Zion that was born like in 1863 and how they drilled him or something and how that translates to slavery or something like that. I mean, this guy is a pretty all of his stuff isn't surface level. It has depth behind it. If I can classify his music, he's like one of the icebergs of hip hop. I mean, the last album he released, Drogas Wave, was all layered throughout slavery and the Manila and just certain points of his album that just really went back in time and it was explaining things through stories and giving you metaphors and all type of stuff that correlate with that. So I couldn't tell you what drill music in Zion is. The only thing I know is that this album was supposed to be symbolized around the perfection of imperfection. So,
Mm,
and that's a Japanese proverb. And in Seattle, he had a excerpt in the second half where he had there was a documentary of the South Side of Chicago where they were talking about martial arts in schools, and they had one of the senseis from that documentary giving the outro to that song. Um, so he drops that nugget in there. There was just always something that you can gain from Lupe, from the poetry from his sister to the nuggets that he drops himself to the actual people that he have on his albums on the outro. So yeah, it was a layered album. I don't think it's his most layered album, but it was definitely some layers within here.
facts. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's Lupe for you, right?
Yeah.
That's Lupe for you, man.
Yeah, very, very layered. All right. So let me ask you this, man. If you gave this a stamp, is it getting a producing premium product or producing poor product or neither?
All right, so we all know for me, this ain't premium product, man. It's not premium product. This ain't poor product either. Cause I feel like they meet each other in the middle. The production and the rapper. I'm in the middle, man. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't give it a stamp of approval or disapproval. It's in the middle, man. It's still loading, man. It's still loading. But
Okay.
what you got, man?
I gotta agree with you. I think though I enjoyed this, I don't see myself really revisiting this album like on the daily or numerous occasions. So um I will agree with you. I'll say producing, average product, if we're gonna say that. Is cool. And I wouldn't say this is average. I wouldn't say this is average. But if you compare it to a lot of Lupe's projects, his better projects, it's just kind of like middle of the pack. The production was good on here, the rapping was good on here, the flows were good on here, but it was cool. That's the best way I can explain it. It was a cool album. It was solid. I wouldn't trash it and I wouldn't say it's his best album. I just say it's a solid album from Lupe.
You know what? Actually, thinking about it, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm giving it a stamp of poor, bro. Poor performance, bro. I'm sorry, man. The production was cool, bro, but honestly, I like some tracks on it. I'm really being honest. I like some tracks on it, but I wouldn't, like you said, I would never revisit this album ever again. And I even hate to say it like that, but
Hey,
I
she being honest, man.
I gotta give it a stamp of poor, man. Like Lupe cool, bro. I wish I could get some kick push back, back in the day, man. Some daydream. But we know what Lupe is now, or we really don't. But yeah, I'm sorry, y'all.
So how you feel about Lupe now moving on? What would you want to hear from him or what direction you want him to go or basically, yeah, like how you feel about Lupe?
How I feel about Lupe, honestly, in all honesty, I really thought he faded away a minute ago. I know periodically he might drop an album here and there, but I just thought he's in a C-list class of rappers now. He's not that guy anymore, and he was back in the mid 2000s, but or early late 2000s, give or take. But he's not my guy. He's not in my top 10. He's not even in my artists. Like I said, I like Food and Liquor album, but um, that's it, man. Lupe, you kind of just folded. You folded, man. You folded. But why did Lupe fold, bro? In my opinion. But what happened to Lupe, bro?
Uh I mean, I think he got off on a major. I don't think Lupe ever wanted to be the Lupe that really was in food and liquor and the cool and lasers. Um, Once he got the pressures of a major label and all of that, I think he was just like, "Nah, I'm gonna do it my way." And I think he's finally doing it his way. And for that, I would he's doing it his way and it's peaceful. He got his own label. He making it happen. Um, doing it with the artist that he wants to do it. I mean, this was a guy like on Lasers that made records with Trey Songz. Like you will never hear him and Trey Songz collaborate again. So, he's just doing it his way. And I think this is something that he's comfortable in. I will say this. Um, there aren't many people that can out rap Lupe because he gives you plenty of depth and he can still come at your head. There was a beef with him and Royce, one of my favorite rappers, last year. Ironically enough, after they had a podcast with each other, but they both went at each other on bars. And Lupe is still, when you go bar for bar sparring with Lupe, you better come equipped. I think Lupe caught Royce slipping, and Royce thought it was fun, and Lupe went at his head. It wasn't for game. So, um, yeah, I don't think that Drogas Wave was a nice project. I hated Drogas Light. Um, Tetsuo and Youth was a good project to me, and Food and Liquor 2 was good. I didn't really care for Lasers. But I mean, this is a guy who Lupe used to be one of my favorite artists,
Right, Lupe
honestly.
is Lupe is your guy, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was like him and Nas and maybe like one other Common that was probably constantly fighting for like my favorite. Um, but then, like you said, I won't say he faded, but there were certain times where I was just like, this isn't the Lupe. Like Lupe was always so rebellious, and that's what I loved about Lupe. Like it was the actor, like Words I Never Say era Lupe was
Mhm.
like that was like my highest point of Lupe. Even the Food and Liquor and the Cool, even though those projects were great, him going and doing performing at the BET Awards, performing Words I Never said I really think the war on terror is a bunch of bullshit. Like that era of Lupe, him going on the Bill O'Reilly, right, the whatever show that was back in the day, and him pretty much saying going toe to toe with a major political figure that had pull on these channels and networks, and pretty much saying like, yo, bro, like Obama's a terrorist, bro. That he's bombing people on the Gaza Strip. Like him going to do that, the rebellious side of Lupe is the Lupe that I love so much. So once he kind of stepped away from that light, his music didn't like decline per se in my opinion, but it's just his exposure, and that changes once you have a major label backing you. I think that's a lot of thing that fans forget is once you no, he was signed with Atlantic before, and then once that deal after Lasers, I believe that deal, that's when the deal stopped. Or I think Food and Liquor too, I think. No, I think Tessio and Youth was the last project of his deal with Atlantic, and then after that, he started doing all of his independent stuff. So, I just think that it just changed, man.
Feel you.
That's
I
all.
feel you. Feel you. Yeah, man. Because at one point it was supposed to be him and Kendrick going toe to toe at one point, but I was little.
Yeah, I still would like to see that. I don't think that would be as bad as people will make it seem for Lupe. I give Lupe a fighting chance in that. I definitely give him a better chance than Drake.
Not even a fighting chance, bro. It's gonna be a good battle, bro. Like Goliath versus freaking what's the other one? David?
Oh, you talking
David?
about
Yeah,
not
David,
David?
bro.
No, that's mad uneven. Goliath
What?
was supposed to destroy David, and David beat him with a slingshot.
Right, that's what I'm
People
saying, bro. It
counted.
was right,
Uh,
right, right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, bro. I feel like he might be a David, bro, Lupe, bro, and he gonna come in strong.
you
But
think? Oh, you think Lupe would be favored in that?
no, he's definitely won't be favored. But that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
He could be a true underdog to the whole story. He might
okay,
come
I
out
got
on
you.
top. Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
because
I got you. I got
trust me,
you.
like I said, I respect Lupe as an artist. I do. Trust me, I do. But this album right here just wasn't for me.
That's facts. That's fact, and it ain't for everybody. Everybody ain't
Mhm.
gonna love an album. Everybody ain't gonna love it.
Right.
That's just with music, man.
Mhm.
But yeah, but this was the Triple Crown podcast, the album review on Lupe Fiasco's Drill Music in Zion. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And also make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. This is the Triple Crown Podcast, and we are